In the dark emptiness of space, a human soldier named Captain Ryan Hale drifted alone inside a half-destroyed ship. The battle had ended hours ago, but silence was louder than any explosion. His ship, the Horizon, floated between the stars like a broken memory. Ryan's suit was damaged. Oxygen was low. His side burned where shrapnel had cut through his armor. He knew he didn't have long. The stars outside his cracked visor shimmered like fading candles. He spoke to himself softly, "This is it, end of the line." Then, a light appeared. At first, Ryan thought it was just a hallucination. A soft, blue glow pulsed in the darkness. It moved closer, slow and steady, like something alive. The light grew brighter, revealing the shape of a figure, a woman, but not human. Her skin shimmered like moonlight over water. Her eyes glowed softly, deep blue and calm. Strands of silver hair floated around her face as if gravity didn't exist for her. Ryan raised his weapon weakly, but his arm shook too much to aim. "Stay back," he whispered. The alien woman stopped a few feet away. Her voice was calm, almost musical. "You are hurt," she said softly. "I mean no harm." Her words were clear, her accent strange but gentle. Ryan stared, confused. Who are you?" She looked at him with sad eyes. "You saved me," she said. "Now let me heal you." Ryan frowned. He had no idea what she meant. "Saved you? I don't even know you." "You did," she said quietly. "When your ship fired at the attackers, you destroyed the drone that held me captive. You risked your life, and freed me." Ryan tried to remember the last battle. He had fired at anything moving to protect his crew. Maybe one of those targets was her prison. "That was luck," he said, coughing. She smiled faintly. "No. It was choice." Her hand lifted slowly, and a faint silver light glowed from her palm. The broken panels around Ryan began to vibrate. Energy danced like dust in sunlight. His pain eased for a second, he felt warmth spread through his chest. "What are you doing?" he asked weakly. "Healing you," she said softly. "But I need your trust." Ryan looked into her glowing eyes. Part of him wanted to believe her. But another part whispered that she could be a trap, an alien trick, another weapon sent to finish him off. "I don't even know your name," he said. The woman tilted her head slightly. "My name has no human sound. You may call me Lyra." "Lyra," he repeated, trying to keep his focus. His vision blurred. "You're real, right?" Lyra nodded. "Real as your pain. Real as your fear. But your time is short. Let me help before it ends." Ryan looked down at his hands, trembling, blood-stained, shaking. He didn't have many options. His oxygen meter blinked red. "All right," he whispered. "Do it." Lyra moved closer. The light around her hand grew stronger. She placed her palm gently over his wound. A surge of warmth flooded his body. The pain faded instantly, replaced by something he couldn't describe. It wasn't just healing, it was connection. For a second, he saw flashes inside his mind, stars being born, worlds filled with light, her people walking among ancient crystal towers. He saw her world dying, burned by war. He felt her loneliness, centuries of it. Then it was gone. Ryan gasped and grabbed her wrist. "What was that?" Lyra's voice trembled. "A memory, you saw my past. You needed to understand why I came." Ryan blinked. "Came? From where?" "From a world humans once promised to protect," she said, looking away. "But something went wrong. Someone broke the promise." The silence returned between them. Sparks flickered from the control panels. The hum of dying engines filled the air. Lyra's face turned toward the stars. They are still coming, she said. Ryan frowned. Who? The ones who destroyed my home, she whispered. And now they are coming for Earth. Ryan froze. His heartbeat raced. Earth? She nodded slowly. Yes. You saved me, but you also started something you don't yet understand. The ship shook slightly. Outside, in the distance, several red lights appeared, moving fast. Ryan's eyes widened. What are those? Lyra's calm expression changed. Hunters, she said quietly. They found us. Before Ryan could react, she reached out again. A bright pulse of energy surrounded them both, wrapping them in a glowing shield. The lights outside grew closer, enemy ships. The battle wasn't over. It was only beginning. Lyra looked into his eyes, her voice firm yet calm. You saved me once, Captain Hale. Now you must let me save your world. The light consumed everything, and the screen went dark, the light faded, and Captain Ryan Hale blinked as his vision cleared. He was no longer inside the broken ship. The room around him looked smooth and bright, made of silver walls that pulsed with blue light. It wasn't human technology. He turned slowly, breathing hard. Where are we? Lyra stood beside him, her silver hair flowing like liquid light. My ship, she said softly. Hidden between folds of space. Safe, for now. Ryan stared at her in shock. You teleported us? Lyra nodded. Your word for it is close enough. He took a step forward and looked out a transparent window. Outside, stars stretched like rivers of light. The human warships were gone. In their place, dark shadows moved, hunter ships, sleek and deadly, scanning the area where the horizon had been. Ryan clenched his fists. You said they were coming for Earth. Who are they? Lyra looked at him with a mix of fear and anger. They are called the Vorath. My people once fought them, and lost. They feed on living energy, the essence of souls. When they learned about Earth, they decided humans would be their next harvest. Ryan's jaw tightened. Harvest? You mean? Yes, Lyra interrupted softly. They will drain life itself. Ryan turned away, pacing across the glowing floor. Earth has defenses. Fleets. Colonies. They won't just. Lyra stepped closer, her voice low. I have seen what they do. No wall can stop hunger like theirs. Ryan met her eyes. Then what do we do? Lyra raised her hand, and a holographic map appeared between them, stars, planets, and one glowing blue sphere, Earth. Around it, small red dots began to appear, the Vorath fleet. They travel through cracks in space, Lyra said. They can arrive before your people even detect them. Ryan stared at the map, his heart pounding. So you brought me here to warn me. Lyra's expression softened. To help me stop them. You are a soldier. I am a healer. Together, we might have a chance. Ryan shook his head. I don't see how. One ship. Against a whole fleet. Lyra turned toward a console and touched it. Panels opened, revealing small crystal devices glowing faintly. These are hearts of light. Fragments of my world's core. They can bend energy, even reality. Ryan looked at them skeptically. You're saying those rocks can stop an invasion? Lyra's eyes narrowed. They can, if placed where the Vorath enter your space. But I cannot do it alone. The energy of a human heart can bind the core, make it stable. Ryan frowned. You need a human to power them? Lyra hesitated. To connect them. He crossed his arms. Sounds like you're asking me to die. She stepped closer, her glowing eyes locking on his. No. I am asking you to live, and fight for something bigger than survival. Ryan studied her face. There was no lie in her tone, no trick. Just truth, and sadness. He nodded slowly. All right. What's the plan? Lyra's face brightened slightly. We will go to the first gate before they reach it. If we conceal it, we delay them. Enough time to warn your people. Ryan sighed. All right, Lyra. Let's do it. She touched her hand to the wall, and the ship responded like a living thing. Lights dimmed, engines hummed with a soft rhythm. Ryan felt a strange pulse under his boots, like the ship itself was breathing. As they moved toward the control room, Ryan couldn't help but glance at her again. You said your world was destroyed. How did you survive? Lyra's gaze dropped. I didn't. Not completely. My body died long ago. What you see is my spirit, given form by the core's energy. My mission was to find someone worthy, someone with courage, to finish what we started. Ryan stopped walking. You're not alive. Lyra turned slightly, her voice like a whisper. Not in the way you understand. But my purpose still lives. Ryan swallowed hard. He didn't know whether to be afraid or amazed. Then why me? She looked at him again, eyes glowing brighter. Because when others ran, you stayed. You fought to protect strangers. You saved me without knowing. That is why. He didn't answer. For the first time, Ryan felt something stir in him, not fear, but a strange connection. Before he could speak again, the ship shook violently. Alarms flashed red. Lyra's expression turned sharp. They found us. Ryan ran to the window. Outside, black ships burst from the folds of space like shadows splitting the stars. Their weapons glowed crimson. Can your ship fight? Ryan shouted. Lyra raised her hands over the control panel. She can run, but not forever. Ryan strapped himself into a seat. Then let's make it count. The alien ship spun sharply, diving through a stream of light. Explosions rippled behind them as the Vorith fired. The ship moved faster than Ryan could believe, bending light itself, vanishing and reappearing. He held on tight as everything around him blurred. How far to the gate? Too far if they catch us, Lyra replied. Sweat glowed faintly on her skin like silver dew. Ryan gritted his teeth. Then we don't let them. He saw one of the Vorith ships gaining. Its front opened, releasing a pulse of dark energy. Lyra screamed as the energy struck their hull. The lights dimmed. Ryan shouted, Lyra. She fell to her knees, weak. Their energy, it drains life. They feed from distance now. Ryan jumped up, grabbed a manual control stick, and took over. Then I'll fly. The ship responded to his touch, almost alive. He dodged between bursts of red fire, heart racing. One more hit and they'd be dust. Hold on, he shouted, pulling hard on the controls. The ship dove downward into a stream of blue light, and vanished. The Vorith ships disappeared behind them, lost in the folds of space. Lyra slowly stood, breathing heavily. You did it. Ryan smiled weakly. Guess I'm not a bad pilot after all. Lyra placed her glowing hand over the console. You saved us again, Captain Hale. But the gate is close now, and when we reach it, we face something worse than the hunters. Ryan's face hardened. Worse than them? Lyra nodded. Their master. Outside, a distant shape began to appear, huge, dark, and alive. The real battle was only beginning. The ship drifted silently through a glowing tunnel of light. Stars twisted outside, stretching and folding like rivers of glass. Captain Ryan Hale sat in the pilot's seat, gripping the controls tightly. His heart still raced from the battle. Lyra stood beside him, her silver hair floating gently, her eyes fixed ahead. We are close, she said quietly. Ryan looked out the window. That's the gate. Before them floated something enormous, a swirling hole in space, dark at the center but surrounded by glowing blue energy. It looked like a storm frozen in time. Lyra nodded slowly. That is the first gate. The Vorith use it to enter your system. If we close it, Earth will be safe, for now. Ryan frowned. And how do we close it? Lyra turned to him. With one of the light cores. But when we activate it, the gate will fight back. It will try to pull us in. Ryan sighed. So, basically, we have one shot. She smiled faintly. Yes. And I believe we can do it. For a moment, neither spoke. The silence of space surrounded them, heavy and endless. Then the ship's alarms started to flash again. Ryan looked at the radar. They're back. Several red dots appeared behind them, Vorith ships, closing fast. But this time, something else appeared too. A much larger signal. Massive. Lyra's face turned pale. He's here, she whispered. Ryan looked at her. Who? The Master, she said softly. The one who destroyed my world. Ryan's eyes widened. You mean the leader of the Vorith? Lyra nodded. He is not just their leader. He is their creator. Ryan turned back to the window, and then he saw it, from the shadows of space, something emerged, a colossal ship, black as night, shaped like a serpent with glowing red eyes. It moved like it was alive, its scales made of metal and darkness. Lightning flashed across its surface as it roared silently through the void. Ryan whispered, "That's not a ship, that's a nightmare." Lyra's voice trembled. He feeds on fear. Do not let him touch your mind. Ryan could already feel it, a strange pressure inside his head, like a voice whispering his name. Ryan. Ryan, you can't win. He shook his head. No. Not today. He tightened his grip on the controls. Tell me what to do, Lyra. She opened a glowing crystal sphere, the light core. It floated above her palm like a tiny sun. We must place this near the center of the gate. You must fly us close enough. Ryan stared at the storm ahead. Close enough to get sucked in. Lyra nodded. Yes. He took a deep breath. All right. Let's end this. He pushed the controls forward. The ship roared toward the gate, the light outside twisting faster and faster. The Vorith ships followed, firing beams of red energy. Ryan dodged and weaved, moving through the chaos. Almost there. Lyra shouted. The gate pulsed violently. Streams of blue lightning reached out like claws, grabbing the ship and pulling it forward. Ryan fought the controls, but the pull was too strong. Lyra stepped forward, holding the core high. I can do this. Ryan shouted, wait. What happens when you activate it? Lyra looked back at him. You must let go. Before he could answer, the ship shook violently. The Master's ship fired a beam of darkness that tore across space, hitting them directly. The lights went out. The ship spun uncontrollably. Ryan hit the emergency stabilizer, sparks flying around him. Lyra, he yelled. He turned, and saw her kneeling on the floor, clutching the core. Her body glowed so brightly that the light hurt his eyes. Lyra. Stop. You'll burn out. She smiled weakly. I already burned long ago, Ryan. This is my purpose. The gate's pull grew stronger. The ship was being dragged toward the center. Ryan grabbed her hand. I'm not leaving you. She looked up, tears like light on her cheeks. You must survive. Earth needs you. No, Ryan said firmly. We finish this together. Before she could argue, he reached for the core with her. Their hands touched, and suddenly, everything exploded with light. Ryan felt his mind split open. He saw everything at once, stars, galaxies, lives, and deaths. He saw Lyra's world again, her people dying, her promise to save another world so no one else would suffer the same fate. He saw the Master too, his true form. A massive being made of shadows and fire, with eyes like suns gone cold. The Master's voice echoed inside Ryan's head. You think you can stop me, human? You are dust in the wind. Ryan gritted his teeth. Maybe, but even dust can choke a monster. He forced his focus back to the core, pouring every ounce of his will into it. Lyra screamed beside him, her light merging with his. The gate began to collapse, the storm spinning faster and faster. Outside, the Vorith ship started to shatter like glass. The Master roared, his ship splitting apart as the energy ripped through it. Lyra's voice echoed faintly. Ryan, thank you. The light consumed everything. When Ryan opened his eyes, he was lying on a cold floor. The room was silent. The gate was gone. He looked around, the ship was still there, damaged but intact. But Lyra was gone. Only the faint shimmer of silver dust floated in the air where she had stood. Ryan sat up slowly, pain shooting through his body. Lyra. No answer. He looked out the window. The stars were peaceful again. The Master's ship, gone. Ryan stared in silence, his heart heavy but full of strange warmth. He whispered, You did it, Lyra. You saved us. Then he noticed something glowing in his hand, a small crystal, the same color as her eyes. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. He smiled faintly. Maybe you're still here. As he gazed into the stars, the communicator crackled, a human voice came through. Captain Hale, this is command. We lost your signal for hours. Are you alive? Ryan took a deep breath. Alive, and I have a story to tell. He looked one last time at the glowing crystal. Outside, a faint light flickered in the distance, another gate, slowly forming. Ryan stood up, determination in his eyes. Guess it's not over yet. The silence of space surrounded Captain Ryan Hale once again. Only the faint hum of his ship remained, a quiet reminder that he was still alive. He sat in the pilot's seat, staring at the blue crystal in his hand. It pulsed gently, glowing with the same light as Lyra's eyes. Every few seconds, it shimmered like it was breathing. Lyra, he whispered softly. He didn't know if she could hear him, but deep inside, he felt she was still there, somewhere between the light and the stars. The ship's screen flickered back to life. A human face appeared, Commander Reyes, his superior officer from Earth Command. Captain Hale. We thought you were gone, she said. Ryan smiled faintly. Almost was. Reyes looked at him with concern. Your signal vanished after the Horizon's destruction. What happened out there? Ryan leaned back in his chair. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me, Reyes replied firmly. Ryan paused. His mind replayed everything, Lyra, the Vorith, the Master, the collapsing gate. He took a slow breath. An alien race called the Vorith tried to enter our system. I stopped them. But we're not safe yet. Reyes frowned. Aliens? You're saying, I'm saying Earth has no idea what's coming, Ryan interrupted. And I'm not sure how much time we have. There was silence for a moment. Then Reyes spoke again, her tone colder. Captain, I need you to return immediately. We'll debrief and analyze your report. Ryan looked at the glowing crystal again. Something in him didn't want to go back, not yet. There's something else, he said quietly. Lyra, the alien who helped me, she said there are more gates. If I return now, we'll lose our chance to stop them before they open. Reyes shook her head. You're one man, Captain. You can't fight a war alone. Ryan's voice hardened. I'm not alone. He held up the crystal. It pulsed brighter, like it understood. Reyes looked puzzled. What is that? Ryan smiled faintly. Hope. The screen flickered, and the connection died. He sighed and turned his ship toward the stars. All right, Lyra. Where do we go next? As if answering him, the crystal glowed stronger and projected a faint holographic map, stars connected by thin lines. One of them blinked red. Ryan smiled. Got it. Hours later, his ship approached the marked system, a small, dying sun with one surviving planet. The world looked scarred, its surface cracked and glowing faintly from volcanic fire. As Ryan entered orbit, his scanners picked up strange readings. Energy spikes. Another gate, he muttered. He landed the ship on a rocky plateau. The ground shook under his boots as he stepped outside. Ash floated in the air like snow. In the distance, he saw it, a broken city of alien ruins glowing with the same blue light as Lyra's ship. At its center was a massive crystal spire, pulsing slowly, like a heartbeat. Ryan walked closer, gripping his plasma rifle. The closer he got, the stronger the crystal in his hand glowed. He reached the ruins and stopped. Lyra, are you here? For a moment, there was nothing. Then a faint voice echoed in his mind, soft and familiar. Ryan, he froze. Lyra? The crystal in his palm glowed brighter. Then, from the light, her figure appeared, a shimmering hologram. She looked the same as before, but fainter, as if made of mist. Lyra, Ryan said, stepping closer. You're alive. She smiled gently. A part of me lives within the crystal. You carry my essence now. Ryan blinked. So you're, inside my mind. In a way, she said softly. Our connection lets me guide you. But time is short. The second gate is forming here. If we don't stop it, it will open directly toward Earth. Ryan looked up at the spire. That thing? Lyra nodded. It is the anchor. You must destroy it before it stabilizes. He raised his rifle. Then let's end this. Before he could fire, the ground shook violently. From the shadows of the ruins, black shapes began to rise, tall, thin creatures with glowing red eyes. Their bodies looked like smoke and metal fused together. Ryan cursed under his breath. They followed us. Lyra's voice echoed, urgent. Vorith shades, fragments of their army. They protect the anchor. Ryan opened fire. Blue plasma bolts tore through the smoke, but the creatures kept coming. They moved like shadows, fast and silent. He ducked behind a fallen pillar and reloaded. Any advice? Hit their cores, Lyra said. The light can destroy them. Ryan looked at the glowing crystal in his hand. You mean this? Yes. Use it. He clenched the crystal tightly. It pulsed, sending waves of light through his arm. Suddenly, his weapon began to glow too. The plasma shots turned from blue to white, burning brighter than before. He stood up and fired again. This time, the shades screamed as they dissolved into dust. Nice, Ryan muttered. More creatures crawled from the ruins, but he didn't stop. Each shot was precise, filled with energy from the crystal. The ground burned with light as the last shade vanished into smoke, the area fell silent again. Ryan breathed hard and looked at the spire. Now it's just you and me. Lyra's voice softened. Be careful. The anchor is alive. It will fight back. Ryan stepped forward. The spire's surface cracked, and black energy began to leak out. He aimed his rifle and fired. The shot hit, but the energy absorbed it. Great, he muttered. Ryan, Lyra said quickly, use your connection. The core reacts to your will, not just your weapon. He hesitated, then placed the crystal directly on the spire's surface. The moment he touched it, a surge of energy shot through him. Visions flashed again, Lyra's world, the Master, and something else. Earth burning under dark skies. No, he shouted, pushing harder. Not again. The light spread from his hand into the spire, cracking it apart. The energy screamed, then exploded upward in a beam of white fire. When the light faded, the spire was gone. Only ashes and silence remained. Ryan fell to his knees, exhausted. It's done. Lyra's voice was soft, but full of warmth. You did it. One more gate closed. He smiled faintly. How many left? Her expression turned sad. 5. Ryan laughed weakly. Of course there are. He looked up at the stars, the crystal glowing softly in his hand. Then we keep going, Lyra. Until the last gate falls. She smiled faintly. Together. The wind carried the ashes away as Ryan stood, his shadow long against the glowing sky, one man against the darkness. Days passed as Captain Ryan Hale drifted through the endless dark, his ship moving from one system to another. The stars looked calm, but he knew danger was always close, hidden behind the silence. He spent most of his time checking the readings from Lyra's crystal. It now served as his map and guide, glowing faintly whenever another gate's energy appeared. Lyra's voice echoed softly in his mind. You should rest, Ryan. He smiled a little. You said that 3 hours ago. You haven't slept in 2 days, she said gently. Ryan leaned back in his chair. I'll sleep when Earth's safe. The ship hummed quietly as it passed through a field of starlight. Outside the window, a small gray planet appeared, cold, cratered, and lifeless. Lyra's voice grew serious. This is your moon. Ryan blinked in surprise. The moon? Earth's moon? Yes, she said. But something has changed. There is energy beneath its surface, the signature of another gate. Ryan's heart sank. You're saying one of the gates is under our own moon? Yes. Hidden for centuries. It may have been buried there long before humans even existed. Ryan shook his head. That explains the strange signals NASA picked up years ago. Lyra's voice softened. If it opens, the Vorath won't just invade, they'll rise from under your world's feet. Ryan clenched his jaw. Then we stop it now. He guided the ship toward the moon's surface. As they descended, dust clouds swirled, and the ground below shimmered faintly with blue lines, ancient markings, glowing beneath the rock. Ryan landed near a massive crater. The air outside was silent, no wind, no life. Only the sound of his suit breathing system echoed inside his helmet. He stepped out carefully, holding the glowing crystal. The ground beneath him vibrated slightly, almost like a heartbeat. Lyra, he said, it's alive. Yes, her voice replied in his ear. The gate sleeps, waiting for the Master's call. Ryan looked up at the horizon. Earth hung in the sky, beautiful and blue. For a moment, he felt small, standing between two worlds. Not today, he whispered. He followed the glowing lines across the crater until they led to a tall structure half buried in dust, a black monolith, smooth and pulsing faintly with red light. That must be the entrance, he said. Lyra's voice grew tense. Be careful. The Vorath may have left guardians. Ryan aimed his rifle and stepped closer. The monolith suddenly reacted, its surface rippled like water, and from within, dark shapes emerged, Vorath drones. Small, spider-like machines with glowing red eyes. Ryan fired immediately. Blue plasma bolts hit the first one, shattering it into metal shards. But more crawled out, climbing the rocks, their claws clicking like knives. He ducked behind a ridge and reloaded. Lyra, there's too many. Use the crystal, she shouted. Channel the light. Ryan held the crystal in front of him. "Alright, let's see what you can do." The crystal pulsed, sending waves of light through the ground. A shockwave of blue energy burst out, blasting the drones into dust. The entire crater glowed for a few seconds, then went quiet again. Ryan stared at the crystal, amazed. That was new. Lyra's voice smiled faintly. "You are learning. The bond grows stronger." He stepped forward again toward the monolith. The red light dimmed, and a doorway opened. Inside, a staircase led down into blackness. Ryan took a deep breath and walked in. His boots echoed against the metallic floor. The air was cold, and faint whispers echoed through the tunnels, voices not human, calling in a language he couldn't understand. "Lyra, what is this place?" "A temple," she said softly. "The Vorith built it long ago. This is where they first touched your world." Ryan shivered. "Why the moon?" "It was close enough to watch, but far enough to stay hidden," she said. "They studied your kind for centuries." He reached the bottom of the staircase. The room opened into a vast chamber filled with strange machines and black crystal pillars. In the center was a massive sphere of dark energy, swirling and glowing faintly red. "The gate core," Lyra whispered. "It's still dormant, but not for long." Ryan looked at it, his hand tightening around the glowing crystal. "Then let's shut it down." He walked closer, each step heavy. As he approached, the red light brightened, and a deep voice echoed through the chamber, "You cannot stop what has already begun." Ryan froze. "Who said that?" Lyra's voice trembled. "Ryan, he knows we are here." The sphere pulsed again, and a shape formed inside it, a dark figure, tall and shadowed. It had no face, only two glowing eyes like burning coals. "You destroyed my children," the voice said, calm and cold. "Now you will join them." Ryan raised his weapon. "You must be the master." "Names are for mortals," it hissed. "I am hunger. I am the end." Ryan gritted his teeth. "Then meet resistance." He fired at the sphere, but the bolts disappeared into the energy. The chamber shook violently, cracks spreading along the walls. "Ryan!" Lyra shouted. "You can't fight him like this. Use the bond." He held the crystal tightly and closed his eyes. The light grew stronger, spreading up his arm. He could feel Lyra's presence, calm and warm. Together, they focused. The light burst from his hand, forming a beam that hit the dark sphere. The master screamed, a deep, echoing roar that shook the ground. The red light flickered, then cracked apart. The chamber began to collapse. "Ryan, we must go," Lyra shouted. He ran up the stairs as the walls exploded behind him. Dust and debris flew through the air. He jumped out of the doorway just as the temple caved in. The crater glowed blue for a moment, then went dark. Ryan lay on the lunar surface, breathing heavily. "That's 2 gates down." Lyra's voice was soft but proud. "You fought the Master's echo and survived. Few ever have." Ryan looked up at Earth again, shining bright above. "We'll finish this, Lyra. No matter what it takes." The crystal pulsed in his hand, steady and bright, like a heartbeat. Ryan Hale sat in silence, the blue glow of the crystal reflecting in his tired eyes. His ship floated beyond the moon, drifting toward open space again. Earth was safe, for now. But both he and Lyra knew the war wasn't over. "The Master's voice," Ryan said quietly. "It wasn't just an echo, was it?" Lyra's tone grew distant, almost sad. "No. What you faced was only a projection, a fragment of his true self. The real Master lies deep within the machine god." Ryan frowned. "The machine god?" "Yes," Lyra said. "It's an ancient construct. Older than any world. The Vorith built it to control their armies, but it grew beyond them, alive, aware, and hungry for more. Ryan leaned forward in his seat. And I suppose that's where we're going next. The last signal from the gate fragments points there, Lyra replied. It's orbiting a dying star in Sector 9. Ryan's jaw tightened. Then set course. Hours turned into days as they approached the distant star. The light outside the window grew red and dim, casting a strange shadow across the cockpit. The ship began to shake as they neared a massive metallic sphere, floating like a dark moon, covered in endless towers, gears, and glowing veins of red energy. That's the machine god. Ryan whispered. Yes, Lyra said. Its core is the master's heart. Ryan could almost feel it, a presence pressing against his thoughts, whispering in a cold, mechanical voice. You come to end me, little human, but you are already part of my design. Ryan gritted his teeth. I've had enough of your talk. He guided the ship toward a docking port. As they landed, the ramp opened to a dark corridor filled with fog and faint whispers. The air felt heavy, as if the metal itself was breathing. Ryan walked forward, rifle ready, the crystal glowing softly on his chest plate. Lyra's voice followed him, steady and calm. Stay alert. The machine god's defenses are alive. Alive? He asked. Before Lyra could answer, the walls began to move. Metal panels twisted, forming tall figures, mechanical sentinels with glowing red eyes. Ryan fired, blue plasma cutting through their armor. Sparks filled the hallway, and the machines fell one by one. But more appeared, crawling out from the walls like insects. Lyra, any ideas? Head for the core, she said. If we reach it, I can link with the system. Ryan sprinted down the corridor, blasting through enemies. The deeper he went, the louder the whispers became, thousands of digital voices chanting in unison. At last, the hallway opened into a vast chamber, a cathedral made of metal. In the center floated a huge glowing sphere, black and red, pulsing like a living heart. Around it, streams of energy moved like veins, connecting to every part of the structure. Ryan stood in awe. That's it. Lyra's voice grew faint. Be careful, the closer we get, the stronger he becomes. As Ryan approached, the ground trembled. The heart opened like a flower, revealing a figure suspended inside, a massive form made of wires and light, with eyes that burned like twin suns. You think you can stop eternity? The voice thundered. Ryan raised his weapon. I think I can try. He fired, but the bolts vanished before reaching the figure. The machine god's laughter echoed across the chamber. Your strength is nothing without her. Ryan froze. Her. The red light flared, and before his eyes, a shape formed beside the machine god, a projection of Lyra. But she looked different, colder, sharper, her eyes glowing crimson. Ryan stepped back. Lyra. The real Lyra's voice whispered in his mind. That is not me. It's his copy, his trap. The false Lyra smiled cruelly. You don't need her, Ryan. She's using you, just like I use the gates. Ryan clenched his fists. You're lying. Am I? She said, stepping closer. Every time you use that crystal, you give her more control. You're not the hero, Ryan. You're her weapon. For a moment, doubt filled his mind. Could it be true? Was Lyra just another part of the machine god's plan? The real Lyra's voice cut through the noise. Ryan, listen to me. He feeds on fear. Trust the bond we share. Ryan took a deep breath. I trust you. The crystal on his chest flared with bright blue light. The false Lyra screamed and dissolved into smoke. The machine god roared. You dare defy me? Ryan aimed the crystal toward the heart. You wanted eternity, he said. Here's your end. The light burst from the crystal, brighter than before. It struck the machine god's core, and the entire chamber exploded with energy. The ground shook violently. Streams of red light turned blue as Lyra's energy spread through the system, rewriting it from within. Ryan! Lyra cried. I'm merging with the core, I can stop him, but it will cost everything. Ryan shouted, no. You'll die. Her voice softened. You once saved me, now let me heal the stars. The light engulfed everything. Ryan tried to reach for her, but his hand passed through nothing but energy. The machine god screamed one final time, then shattered into fragments of glowing dust. The noise stopped. The darkness faded. The entire sphere began to collapse, but Ryan's ship automatically pulled him back through an emergency teleport. He awoke in the cockpit, alone. Outside the window, the red star burned softly, peaceful again. The machine god was gone. Ryan looked at the crystal. It was dark now, no glow, no voice. Lyra, he whispered. No answer came. Only silence. He closed his eyes and sat back. You did it. You really did. For a long time, he said nothing. Just watched the stars drift by. Then, faintly, from the ship's console, a soft pulse of blue light blinked once. Ryan smiled. You're still here, aren't you? The light blinked again, slow, steady, like a heartbeat. He looked out the window at the stars and whispered, we're not done yet. The stars were quiet now. Captain Ryan Hale floated in his ship, staring at the endless sea of darkness. The war was over, or so it seemed. The machine god was gone. The Vorith had fallen silent. But Lyra's voice was gone too, and that silence felt heavier than all the battles he had fought. For days, Ryan drifted through the void. He replayed her words over and over in his mind. You once saved me, now let me heal the stars. He had lost soldiers before, even friends. But Lyra wasn't just a friend. She had been something else, a part of him, a light that guided him through the darkness. He looked at the crystal hanging from his neck. It no longer glowed. It was cold and dull, just a piece of stone. Guess it's just you and me now, he whispered. Outside, the ship moved silently toward the edge of known space. The stars began to thin, replaced by a strange golden mist, the border between galaxies. Ryan sighed. Maybe it's time to go home. He set a course for Earth and closed his eyes. Hours later, a soft hum filled the cabin. Ryan opened his eyes. The crystal was glowing faintly, blue, soft, like the first light of dawn. He sat up quickly. Lyra? For a moment, nothing. Then, a faint voice, distant but real. Ryan. His heart jumped. Lyra. You're alive. I'm not as I was, she said. When I merged with the machine god, I became part of the network, the same system that connects every gate, every world. Ryan smiled faintly. Then you're everywhere now. Yes, she said softly. But my energy is fading. The connection won't last long. Ryan's smile disappeared. No. There has to be a way to bring you back. I'll find one. Ryan, her voice grew gentler, almost like a whisper in the wind. You've already done what no human ever has. You saved your world. You saved many worlds. Now it's time to live. He clenched his fists. You think I can just go back and pretend none of this happened? There was silence for a long time. Then she said, you're more than a soldier now. You're a bridge between worlds. Don't let the light die with me, carry it. The crystal pulsed once more, brighter this time. Then, a faint beam of light projected from it, showing the face of Lyra, calm and radiant, her silver-white hair floating in the glow. Ryan felt tears in his eyes. I wish I could see you, one last time. Lyra smiled softly. You just did. The light faded slowly, leaving behind a quiet hum. Then the crystal went still again, but this time, it wasn't cold. It felt alive, as if her heartbeat still echoed inside it. Ryan wiped his face and exhaled. "All right then. Let's finish this mission, partner." Weeks later, the ship entered Earth's orbit. The world below was peaceful, blue oceans, white clouds, shining continents. Humanity had no idea how close they had come to extinction. Ryan sent a message to the command center. "This is Captain Hale. Mission complete. The threat has been neutralized." The radio crackled with surprise and joy. "Captain. You're alive. We thought." "I know," Ryan interrupted. "Long story. I'll send the data logs. But first, I need a place to land." As the ship descended through the atmosphere, he felt something new, peace. For the first time in years, he didn't feel the weight of battle on his shoulders. He landed near a quiet desert base, stepping out into the sunlight. The air smelled of dust and freedom. A group of scientists and officers greeted him with cheers, but Ryan's eyes were fixed on the sky. Somewhere out there, among the stars, Lyra's essence flowed through the old network, keeping the gates sealed, holding the darkness back. That night, Ryan sat outside the base alone, watching the stars. He held the crystal in his hand, and for a moment, it glowed faintly again, a soft, pulsing blue dot. He smiled. "Still watching me, huh?" A faint whisper drifted through his mind, not words this time, just a feeling. Warm, calm, like the touch of light. Ryan looked at the horizon. "You healed the stars, Lyra. Now I'll heal the world." Months passed. Ryan became a quiet legend on Earth. He shared only parts of his story, enough to prepare others, to warn them about the gates. The rest, he kept to himself. People began calling him the Star Guardian, the man who spoke with light. He built a small observatory far from the cities. Every night, he watched the skies. Some nights, strange lights danced above the clouds, faint blue lines connecting one star to another. He knew what they meant. The bond still lived. Lyra was still out there, guiding the universe in silence. One evening, as he stood under the night sky, a small ship descended quietly nearby. It wasn't human-made, it shimmered like liquid glass. The door opened, and a soft light spilled out. Ryan stepped closer, his heart pounding. From the light, a shape appeared, human-like, glowing softly, with silver eyes that reflected the stars. "Lyra," he whispered. The figure smiled. "A piece of me," she said. "The light you carried brought me back, not as before, but enough." Ryan stood frozen. "You're real." She reached out her hand. "As long as you remember me, I will be." He took her hand, feeling warmth, real warmth, for the first time in years. The night wind brushed past them as they stood together beneath the endless sky. Lyra looked up. "There will be other threats, Ryan. Other shadows. But now, humanity knows how to fight, with heart, not hate." Ryan nodded. "And we'll be ready. Together." She smiled. Together. The stars above flared brighter, as if the universe itself had heard them. And somewhere, far beyond the edge of human sight, the gates glowed once more, not with darkness, but with the same blue light that bound a soldier and an alien spirit forever.